So this was my first time experimenting with a DIY shampoo bar. I tried to do it myself and failed miserably. Can somebody please watch this video and tell me where I went wrong? Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the materials I used. I first started off with these molds I found on Amazon. I also found this melt and pour soap base that we're going to use. And then I jumped into my aloe, which I got from the store. And these are my oils: avocado, almond, and grapeseed. You are going to need some sea moss for this combination, as well as the henna and aloe mask from Curly Proverbs. I use sunflower oil as well, castor oil. I am also using a sea moss soap bar. I'm going in with some coconut oil as well, and last but not least, we're going to use essential oils. Okay, let's start to prep our ingredients. I'm first starting off with aloe. You're going to want to cut the base off because you don't want to use that, and I'm also cutting off the sides. They're pretty prickly or pointy, so you want to get rid of those as well. Once you've done that, go ahead and slice it in half. Please be careful if you're using a knife like I am, and then that's how it's supposed to look. You're going to take all that aloe out. Again, please be careful, guys. I don't know why I was using a knife in the first place. I did switch over to a spoon shortly after, so as you can see, the spoon is a way more safer, but you want to go ahead and get all that aloe out. Aloe helps to re-moisturize the hair, so I thought this would be a great ingredient to add into my homemade soap bar. Go ahead and put that in your NutriBullet or your blender, whatever you guys have at home to use, and blend that bad boy up. Once it's done blending, I am going to go ahead and take a wig cap, and I'm going to put the wig cap or a cheesecloth, whatever you have to strain it, into a bowl, and then slowly pour in your aloe mixture. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze as much as I can out of my wig cap. This is the straining process. There are particles inside the cheesecloth that we just don't want, so we're actually going to go ahead and discard the whole thing, and that's what you're left with. Go ahead and put that to the side, and we're moving on to our sea moss. This is how sea moss first looks when you get it from the store, and I'll definitely have this link below where I got it from, because you can purchase this online and they deliver straight to your home. But go ahead and take that off. This is how it's going to look after 24 hours of it soaking in water. Put the water and the sea moss both in the blender, and then we're going to go ahead and put it on the blender and wait for it to mix. I know it's done because the combination looks like this. It's I want to say an applesauce kind of texture. It's giving like baby food, but go ahead and scrape all that out and put that to the side. Now we're moving on to the actual soap base. The little bit of research that I did do, I learned that you are supposed to have some type of soap base in your soap. So this is what I'm going with, and it reminded me of like candle wax. So yeah, I'm only going to use half of it. Don't ask me why, but I'm just going to go ahead and start to break that down with my knife. I want to slice it into small pieces because we are going to warm this up in order to get it into a liquid. Honestly, y'all, I should have done more research. I did not know what I was doing at all, and I definitely would consider this an experiment, but they were chopped up into small pieces. Put that to the side and start making your oil mixture. Started off with sunflower oil, followed up with my castor oil. Then we're going to hit it with some grapeseed oil. I'm also using avocado oil as well, and almond oil. And then last but not least, I did use a little bit of coconut oil. It was smelling so good in my kitchen, but we're not done yet. We're also going to use eucalyptus essential oil, ylang ylang, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly, peppermint oil as well, and we're also going to use tea tree essential oil, and I am also going to use lavender oil as well. So that is how the mixture looks. Just go ahead and give that a good stir, and we're going to set that to the side. Now I decided to go in with my henna and aloe vase from Curly Proverbs. She is a YouTuber. Now she owns her own brand. Don't ask me why I'm putting this up in here. Let's keep moving on to the soap bar, and which I thought was weird because I'm making a soap bar, so why am I using a soap bar? I don't know at this point. Just keep watching. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and chop that up into small pieces as well, and I'm going to use this to accessorize the soap bar. So put that to the side, and we are finally ready to assemble our product. Now, speaking of full mistakes, I don't know what that is. You know how like when milk starts to curdle and leaves that on top, that's what it reminded me of. But go ahead and start to put all of your mixtures in there, from the sea moss to the aloe vera. We chopped up some soap base. Everything is going to go into this big bowl so we can start to stir. And I feel like this is where things started to take a turn, y'all. So this is where I started to pour in slowly the henna and aloe powder from Curly Proverbs, and I realized that the texture was starting to thicken, just like the plot. Okay, so now you see how it's looking. It's giving like cookie dough or cake batter, but I'm ready to start filling up the molds now. So I just go ahead and put a little bit in there, and like I said, I'm using the soap to accessorize, and I guess I'm just gonna put a little bit more on top. Okay, so now I'm just going to continue to fill up the molds with my homemade soap that I created. I thought that the texture was definitely giving a little bit of a weird vibe, but we just kept moving on because we didn't know what we were doing in the first place. It honestly smelled really good. If it doesn't look good, it smelled really good, so that's a plus, right? Okay, so yeah, I just worked on getting them all packed together, and then I used a spoon to make the surface really soft, or not soft, but like smooth. At this point, I honestly did not know how these were going to dry. I wasn't sure if I was going to leave them on the counter to dry or put them in the fridge or refrigerator. I wasn't sure, but ultimately I just left them out on the counter. I did bang them a little bit to try to get the air bubbles out. I should have pressed the ingredients farther down into the holes of the mold. You guys will see why later, but ultimately I did decide to put these in plastic wrap, and I just left them on the counter until the next day. So let's take a look. All right, y'all, so it has been 24 hours since these bad boys have been drying. Let's see how they turned out. So the first thing that I realized were they were ugly. They were very ugly. What is that, y'all? Me trying to make something, and this is how it turned out. That's why I should have pressed the ingredients down into the molds a little bit more so they just looked a little bit better. And yeah, but they all came out really nice, I'll give it that. So that's how it looks up close. Yeah, not the prettiest thing to look. Oh, and here's the best part, y'all. It is really soft. It has no shape or form of a soap bar whatsoever. This is how they look. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these back on the stove, and I'm going to melt them because I am not a giver-upper. Yep, I said it. I'm not a giver-upper, so we are going to put these back on the stove, and I'm going to melt all these soap bars down. I know it looks like all my hard work is just melting away, but we're going to just try to save this as best as we can. So I went ahead and melted it down for a second, and now I'm grabbing a glass mason jar. I'm going to fill up the mason jar with my mixture, and that is the end product, unfortunately, y'all. That is what we're left with my DIY homemade soap bar. Yeah, so that was my first big fail ever, and I really think that you guys should post your wins and your fails so you guys can comment and tell me where you think I went wrong, especially if you are somebody who does like to make homemade soap bars. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe and follow me for more hair content.